Irish Guy, and yeah, this video is sponsored by Surfshark. When I was growing up, if someone tried to talk to me about some sort of VPN, I'd assume it was some weird guy with an obsession for Van Persie's nose. I mean, get him locked up, sure, but no. Oh no, how lucky are we for the Surfshark VPN? I mean, you're probably wondering what it is, right? Lads, this is like a cheat code for life. I mean, during the month of August, how many of you are going to be stuck on a family holiday in Cyprus? I mean, your mum is down eating croissants at the beach, sure, but you're stuck in your hotel room and pining for match of the day. I mean, honestly, by that stage, you'd happily bite off someone's foot to see Gary Lineker's face. Well, pine no longer. Surfshark can take you anywhere in the world virtually. I mean, you can watch TV that's not meant for the country you're in. So yes, you can watch match of the day, even on a beach in Kenya. And what else? Oh yeah, dealing with cyber criminals is about as much fun as licking peanut butter off the couch. But with Surfshark's Alert ID protection, oh, you'll get an instant alert when someone is trying to hack your phone on the bus. Finally, you can have your weird little secrets in peace. Surfshark makes you anonymous and hard to trace online. It is a phone hacker's worst nightmare, other than, you know, having a picnic with the police. All you've got to do is use the promo code irishguy10 and you get 83% off plus, yes, plus 3 extra months for free. I mean, Surfshark also offers a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk. Link in the description, lads. Anyway, back into the video. Anyway, I'm the Irish Guy, and West Ham are making me feel queasy. Honestly, listen, by the end of this sentence, you're also gonna feel like you've eaten some dodgy Chinese food. Right. West Ham have offered Declan Rice an 8-year contract. 8. Worth £200,000 a week. You are committing to paying the modern day Mark Noble £83 million over 8 seasons. 4 years ago, this is just some reserve West Ham centre-back who was wanted on loan at West Brom and Nottingham Forest. He was not even a dot on the West Ham radar. For example, he was begging Manuel Pellegrini to let him join Aston Villa on loan to play under Steve Bruce. I mean, this fellow would have been replacing John Terry in defence. I'm sorry, go back to 2018 and now be like axing a legend like David Attenborough from nature shows and instead replacing him with Ryland Clark. Excuse me while I shove a knife up my nose. Cries him up, he'd have been in the same Villa dressing room as Jack Grealish, Tammy Abraham and Micah Richards. Oh, the epitome of dressing room bants. And let's not forget, back then, he was Irish too. Or at least pretending to be. I mean, I'm guessing he would sit through an entire episode of Father Ted and not laugh once. This man probably hasn't eaten a potato since 2004. He probably doesn't even know what Inisheer is. Honestly, don't ever trust somebody with an Ireland cap if they don't know who Dustin the Turkey is. I mean, he probably thinks that Ryan Tuberty is a sexually frustrated weather man. But now, he has been offered a Conor McGregor paycheck. An £83 million sports deal to play for West Ham. That's £20 million more than what Nike paid Tiger Woods. It's just a few quid short of the lifetime contract that David Beckham has to promote Adidas. I mean, Didier Drogba earned £33 million in Chelsea wages over the course of 9 seasons, and he helped them win every trophy available. What's Declan Rice gonna do? Help you to finish 6th? Can we please stop the madness? £83 million paid into the pocket of Declan Rice. Football has gotten utterly nutty. When is this nonsense going to slow down? I mean, go back to 2004. Ashley Cole was arguably the best left back on the planet. One of the rare English footballers who deserved the hype. I mean, he just won the Premier League as an invincible. And Arsenal were offering him a new deal worth £35,000 per week. 18 years later, and Rice could be making 7 times that at West Ham. And lads, it gets even worse.
David Moyes puts minimum £150 million tag on Declan Rice.
What is going on? £150 million for Declan Rice. This would make Rice the 3rd most expensive footballer of all time. I don't care about inflation, I'm sorry. But nobody on the planet whose name is Declan should ever have cost more than Ronaldo or Zidane. Declan, you sound like a swimming teacher from Galway. I mean, how many other famous Declans are there? What, the Camp 1 of Anton Deck? 8 years. Declan Rice has just been assured that he will be earning £200,000 a week when he's 31 years of age. He'll have been a West Ham employee for 16 years. 16 years of Rice. Sounds like I'm describing the daily diet of a farmer in Mumbai. But yes, 16 years of Declan Rice. I mean, this is your ticket to transform into West Ham's answer to Stevie G. But even then, Liverpool still never paid Gerrard more than £180,000 a week. And long-term contracts they don't usually work. Good Christ, Saul Niguez penned a 9-year deal at Atletico Madrid in 2017. And 5 years later, and he's just a Spanish Danny Drinkwater. I mean, clearly this long-term security quickly made him develop the motivation and drive of a 47-year-old slob who plays Xbox and eats pizza in his mum's garage. Ozzy, have you watched Saul play lately? He's now got the midfield presence of a melted chocolate cake. And he's on an Atletico deal worth £115,000 a week. I mean, Kepa Arrizabalaga is on a 7-year Chelsea contract. I mean, if he wants to, he can legally sit tight and pocket £115,000 every week until the year 2025. Honestly, he can stuff his face with Pop-Tarts and spend every school night frequenting seedy strip clubs in Blackpool. Because it doesn't matter, he's still in line to fleece Chelsea for over £50 million. How was he ever put in a position to command that? He was an old world superstar, and yet still that contract. I mean, he's getting paid twice what Pepsi paid Beyonce when she was the lead singer of Destiny's Child. Are you sure, West Ham? Are you sure you want to commit to these monster wages for nearly a decade? Price of 8 years is what Arsenal offered Cesc Fabregas in 2006. But that was Cesc Fabregas, a future world champion. Declan Rice, maybe I'm blinded by green envy. Maybe I'm still not over him trampling all over the Irish badge in his size 10s. Maybe I am like that scorned, bitter ex-girlfriend who vows that the guy who cheated on her with her sister is, yes, some subhuman garbage rat who she'd happily push in front of a bus. Yes, maybe I know. Maybe I am that annoying ex writing nasty paragraphs on Facebook to the chorus of "You okay, hun?" from the gals down the local hairdressers. But to me, this is stupid from West Ham and financial madness. Are you telling me you'd rather commit to paying Rice £83 million instead of cashing in for a ludicrous paid check? I mean, 8 years is a very long time in football. I mean, good grace, West Ham have been involved in at least 3 relegation battles since 2014. I mean, what happens when David Moyes leaves the club? If the new project then implodes with someone like Scott Parker at the wheel? I mean, what if West Ham are relegated in 5 years? With Rice's form having fallen off a cliff, or he's now just plodding along like Joey Barton with a fancy haircut. Then West Ham are still committed to paying Rice £200,000 a week in the Championship. I mean, once you discount the players on loan from Chelsea, then the highest paid player in the Championship last season was Jean-Michel Seri at Fulham on £65,000 a week. I mean, that's not exactly going to force the club to stick up a GoFundMe so they can afford some canteen lunch. I mean, you're not suddenly going to have Marco Silva feeding his children bottled breast milk from the fat secretary. But a £200,000 financial stain like Rice in the Championship, it's almost as if the West Ham owners want relegation to kill the club. I know right now there isn't even a glimpse of relegation worry on the cards for West Ham. But I'm sorry, West Ham are still that similar, up and down, wacky, sort of unstable club. I mean, look at Newcastle. They were also short-minded and insane enough to offer Alan Pardew an 8-year deal for finishing 5th in the Premier League in 2012. I mean, the following season, they were 1 goal away from reaching a European semi-final too. 3 years later, they were relegated. Things change very quickly at wacky clubs. And just like Newcastle, West Ham are also the Premier League's answer to Looney Tunes. Alan Pardew should contractually have been Newcastle United manager until halfway through lockdown in 2020. I mean, what? He's currently coaching in Bulgaria. West Ham want to handcuff themselves to Rice until the year 2030, regardless of form drop-offs. Do not commit yourself to paying him £200,000 a week for that long. Put it simply, when Ross Barkley was Rice's age, Evertonians would have snapped your arm off to get Barkley to sign a £200,000 a week 8-year contract at Goodison Park, right? So imagine Everton paying him that wage now when he's just stumbling about like Mrs. Doubtfire. I mean, similarly, if Tottenham were locked into a £200k per week deal with Dele Alli, they wouldn't be able to get rid of him, and Daniel Levy would be close to chewing off his arm. At best, Declan Rice is the next Jordan Henderson, and I say that through gritted teeth. That is at best. This is not the next Roy Keane. We are not looking at the next Stevie G or Frank Lampard. All I'm looking at is someone marginally better than Pete Gareth Barry. Honestly, if Rice was born 20 years ago, I maintain there is not a chance in the Wolves' foreskin that Sven-Göran Eriksson would have chucked him in his midfield. I mean, he'd be lucky to get as many international caps as Jermaine Genius, who only ever started 1 competitive match for his country on some dusty beach in Azerbaijan. West Ham choosing to offer this money for the modern day Matt Holland. And yeah, hands up if you know who that is. Exactly. Ozzy, go Wikipedia him. That was 2002's answer to Declan Rice. West Ham choosing to offer this much money to him, it's mental. Declan Rice would not lace the boots of Michael Carrick, and I don't remember any 8-year deals for him. The West Ham Chiefs probably think that this deal makes them look like a big club, right?
Oh, we're offering players £200,000 a week. Look how massive and ambitious we yard.
But instead, I hate to say it, but it makes you look like a small club. So desperate to hang on to a midfielder with number 41 in his back that you're agreeing to offer him 8 years of employment. I mean, it's like a fat comic book nerd taking time out of his day to romance that cardboard cutout of Wonder Woman and kiss his X-Men poster of Mystique, to then somehow go on a real date with an actual woman with teeth in her head, and then halfway through the date you propose. I mean, no! David Sullivan and David Gold have no chill. Just play it cool, lads. West Ham should have confidence in themselves that they're a big enough club that they'll be able to replace Rice when he moves on, instead of just gambling on him retaining this sort of level of performance for the next 8 years. There is every chance that within 5 years, this fella is performing like a drunk snowman in football boots. Look at Saul Niguez. If I was Rice, I'd be tempted by this. I mean, you just sewn up the rest of your 20s with monster mega wages. When Chelsea released you, you were a guy begging for a trial at Fulham. But he said no. And the crazy thing is, he can probably earn more elsewhere. I mean, Chelsea tossed away Declan Rice in 2014 for being too small. The same club would pay 20 million for Sean Wright-Phillips. Anyway, you just know he's their very own version of Paul Pogba. I just know that Todd Bowley is going to stump up a British record transfer fee to take this guy out of West Ham, paying over £100 million to bring back a guy who you tossed away for a packet of Monster Munch. And then he's going to be a long-term flop, because I'm sorry, there is a trend of £90 million plus transfers failing. Isn't that right? Philip Coutinho, Antoine Griezmann, Jack Grealish, Romelu Lukaku, Ousmane Dembele, Paul Pogba, and Eden Hazard. There is no possible way that Declan Rice will ever be able to justify a £100 million price tag. And he'll be replacing N'Golo Kante, but he's nowhere near as good as him. Sure, he'll get to play Wii golf with best buddy Mason Mount on Champions League nights in Paris, but trust me, he is not worth that sort of cash. But Chelsea paid Timo Werner £270,000 a week, so lads, Rice is probably going to be the club's top earner on £300,000 a week. You know, after they throw Romelu Lukaku in some Italian dustbin. That will be the perfect revenge for Declan Rice. After being rejected as a teenager, now you're going to be the highest paid player Chelsea have ever had on their books. It's just ridiculous. But after a disappointing 5 years, he'll probably be sold to Everton. But Jack Grealish and Declan Rice would have cost over £250 million. We just let $250 million worth of talent walk away from the Irish badge. You could add up every single Irish footballer on the planet, and their entire career transfer fees wouldn't even scratch 100 million. How depressing is that? Anyway, that's what you think. Let me know in the comments section below, what do you think? Is Declan Rice worth the money? If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and as always, I'll talk to you in a while.